to recover this account safely.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
can see your
And
mnemonic.
It's okay, it's local host. Okay.
okay,
You
now
can
we
even
can.
import this on your. Have you installed Phantom Wallet? Do you have Phantom Wallet?
No, no.
No issues.
I
Uh,
think it's not needed for this one. It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah, you don't need it. No.
Now if I try Solana test, it will work.
Yeah, yeah. Even now you
Okay,
can
see, the
run it.
Solana address command is buggy for me, but okay, yeah, it's working for you. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Now do this.
Solana account.
This
From
command.
now on, yeah,
You can just do the airdrop. Come to the next one.
yeah.
Come down.
This one.
Yeah. Do the add. No, no. First, you have to run that Solana test validator. So this Solana
Okay.
test validator, when you run, it means you're running your own local Solana blockchain. That's what you're doing.
Okay. Okay. I don't need to run this, Solana account.
No, it's fine. That is just to get some info and all.
Okay.
You can run this in another tab, Solana test validator. Okay, fine. Okay, leave this running.
Allow
What did
access.
you say?
And you have to open another tab.
In WSI.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this one will keep running, this validator, okay? And now you
Okay.
can do the airdrop. That airdrop command is there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just Solana airdrop and the amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You already had some balance. Okay, cool.
Oh my God, he has that many sold already.
Yeah, that's surprising, right?
Yeah.
What?
I
Just do,
received an empty
I didn't.
account.
yeah, even I got an empty account. Just do
How?
Solana
Then
address.
how?
Let's see which address it is taking. Solana.
Solana LA.
LA. Is this the
Yes.
same as the one you created recently?
Yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah.
now I created in front of you.
Okay.
Mm.
Maybe some local bring some value. Okay, all right. So you are set now. Let's go to the program.
Oh, okay. I'm shopping.
Yeah. I hope everybody is able to do the basic setup because this is like super important to move forward. Yes. I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Or Shweta, you want to share your screen?
Anything will do. Do you want to share your own?
I can, but I already have the code written.
Okay,
Uh,
I am
Can I do?
sharing.
yeah, sorry. Sorry. If somebody else wants to share their screen, that is the best way because I think Shweta and I
Yeah.
have the code.
Yeah. Can I do?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. So the next step is setting up a ranker project.
Do that. Do this on the in the folder where you want to create your application. Go to the uh, Ubuntu workspace, the Linux workspace. Uh, Go to home. Do ls. You have only test ledger over here. Okay, fine. Create a new folder.
Yeah, create a new folder where you are going to keep all your Solana programs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then within this, you create one folder, or no, it will automatically create a folder. So within this, you can do all your Anchor, whatever programs you're going to create. So Anchor init, the command that you are going to run, it will actually create a new folder, and it will it will initialize an anchor repository there.
Okay, you want me to create another folder inside this?
No. Just now do anchor I need.
Anchor init.
Okay. Outside
Yarn
kind of-
install failed. File. Do anchor version. It's showing, right? And Rust also. Rust also is there, right, Shweta? From what you guys discussed.
Yarn install failed.
It's internally running some yeah, npm packages, I think, and maybe it's running yarn. Is yarn there on the system?
Oh yes, actually I installed Yarn also.
Uh, yarn install failed. Let me try to Google. Oh, I think you have to install again. Seems like it's installing again.
I just OS error 17.
Okay, you need to. They already created a folder, I guess. So you need to delete that folder.
Which
Do
folder?
ls.
This Solana.
ls.
My calculator DApp is
Random.
already
Yeah.
there. That's
Yeah.
why. So either change the new project's name or delete the previous one.
How do I delete this? Just
rm hyphen r, the name of that. Yeah. Okay. Now we can try again. So anchor init, the folder name will create. So in general, whatever new project we want to create, right? We can use anchor init and then name of the project that we want to create. So that will create a basic anchor repository for you. And in that repository, you'll find certain test folders. I mean, one folder for test, one folder for programs, which is the smart contract folder. And there are also some other different folders that it creates. But basically, this is the go-to command for us to create a new anchor project.
yeah. What about these warnings?
That's
No need of worrying about the warnings. It will.
the So is everybody on the call able to follow like until here? Or is everybody doing it parallelly, or is anybody stuck in like setup and stuff? Okay, yes. Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Okay, done. My gallery
Okay, that's
installs.
done. Now you can CD into that folder.
I calculated that.
Yeah. Okay. Now you can do ls and see the different things that this my calculator dApp created. So you can see that there is an anchor.toml file, which is like a type of config file created by Anchor. Then there is cargo.toml file. This is the config file created for all Rust packages. Then we have an app folder that is created for front end. Then we have the migrations folder. I'm not exactly sure where that is used. The node modules, which are all the npm node dependencies. The package.json, again from node side. There is a programs folder within which we will actually see that there is already a base program that is written. Then there is a test folder within which there are some tests. There is one test program that's already written. And then the others are just, your yarn block and the ts config, again, config file. So we will have to work with the program which is inside the programs folder. So you can cd within that. Yeah, and do ls. Okay. Again, cd within the my calculated app. Yeah, now check ls. Yeah, so here you can see this my calculated app folder actually contains the programs for your for this is basically your smart contract code. So again, for this my calculated app, you have the cargo terminal, xargo.toml file, which are all config files. And within the source folder, you'll find all the programs. So you can see the inside
You
there.
can open it in VS Code.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that would be best. I don't know if this is you do you have VS Code?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Yeah,
You
okay.
can open this in WSL mode.
How?
Uh, for that, you need to install some extension, I guess. Yeah, so you can install an extension, go to extension and write WSL. W.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, install this one. Yeah.
Install.
Yeah, nice. So now go to the bottom of your VS Code. In the bottom left one, you can see green color something. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So click on that and click on reopen folder in WS. Okay, or click on new WSL window. Yeah, go to open folder. Yeah, it's opening.
Starting this one.
It will take some time. Take some time.
Should I upgrade it?
Do it later on. I would recommend upgrading to WSL2, but do it later on after the session. Okay.
Yeah.
So go to open folder. Yeah. Now scroll and choose your folder. Yeah, there it is.
Solana
Solana
program.
programs.
Yeah, yeah. Just open the entire folder only.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
this fine.
Just click on OK.
Okay.
Until solar powers are my calculator.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
open the entire one. Okay,
Yeah.
great. You can see the entire part now. So within programs are basically the smart contracts in Solana. So within programs, we can see all the contracts. We have only one contract in this one, which is called lib.rs. Okay, so this is the basic structure you will get with all the programs, with all the contracts once you initialize using Anchor. So if you do Anchor in it, the name of your folder, it will create this entire repository for you. And within programs, you will find that there is one lib.rs that is having the basic code. Now here you can see that the first line of the code says use anchor lang prelude and then some star. Basically, whatever anchor related functionalities, they are being uh, exported into our program. Sorry, they are being imported into our program using that line anchor underscore lang prelude. And then the next line that you see, line number 3, what line number 3 is doing is every program once deployed on Solana will get a program ID, which will be unique to that program. So in this line number 3, what they're doing is they are declaring one kind of default ID. Okay. We will have to change this once we deploy it on the network. But this is the default ID using which, why this default ID exists is if you open the tests uh, or sorry, if you open the anchor.toml, yeah, you can see that this program, you can see line number 3, programs.localnet, and line number 4, my calculator dap is equal to. So here, this ID is required for your tests to run. So let's also open the tests. Can you click on the test folder? My calculator dap.ts. Yeah. Yeah. So if you see the test here, what it is doing is it takes something called program, right? On line number 9. So it says const program is equal to anchor.workspace dot my calculator dap as program my calculator dap. So it tries to find this program within your environment. And the way to find this program is using the ID. That's why initially for your just for your test sake and initially for you to have an ID embedded within your program, you can see that in lib.rs, they have declared an ID, which is a default ID, this one. But once we deploy the program, we need to change the ID over here as well as in the anchor.terminal. So this is like the basic structure of the like first few things that are mandatory in every program that we need to write in the lib.rs file. Can you go to the lib.rs only, Vishal? Okay. Now let's look at the other structure of the program, right? So our main program logic will have to be declared when wherever we start writing it. So here we are starting to write our main program logic within a module called my calculator dap at line number 6, right? This module is a public module, and above this module we have declared a macro called program. So line number 5 has hash program. This macro basically says that this whatever comes below that, whatever is going to come below this piece of code is going to be considered as a Solana program, as a Solana smart contract. And line number 6 will have so public module pub mod and then name of your folder, whatever folder name you had given, whatever project name you had given, like my calculator app, it will create the same it will use the same name to create the module, which is the my calculator app. And you can see that this module starts at line number 6 and ends at line number 12. So that is the scope of this module. Within this module, we will be writing all the functions, rather all the functionality that is associated with this particular uh, smart contract, right? Now, the first line, line number 7, says use super, which is very important. So, super, if you are familiar with like object-oriented programming, refers to bringing in all the information or something like calling the constructor of the parent class. So, we use super um, in Java and also probably not in C, I don't remember, but C++ around in those languages, and of course in Rust, where we are going to consume all the data from the parent classes. So that is very important to call that. And then the next is, you can see at line number 9, public function. So this is our first function that we are creating here. So public function, I'm sure this you must have known from the previous Rust sessions. Fn is the word to create a function, the name of the function, which is initialize. Then there are arguments to this function. To this function, we are giving an argument called ctx, which is a context. We have to understand a little bit more about the context, but I'm just going to explain this for now. And within the we are going to pass to it something called the initialize context. Then followed by the arrow, we have the return variable, which is the result. So we are going to return a result from this particular function. And within the function right now, there is no logic or anything. It just returns okay. What that means is, like, this function has run successfully without any issues. So it just returns an okay as a result. And then we close this the parenthesis, and then this module is done. Now, when you see the argument context of initialize, basically this initialize is a structure, right? It is an account structure that we need to define. So you can, sorry for the background noise. My maid and mother-in-law are fighting, just for context. So what the initialize structure, right, that we are sending to the context. So okay, so in any Solana program, we need to pass a couple of things. So we need to pass the accounts that are going to be working with that function. Most importantly, we need to pass the program ID, and we need to pass the instruction set. This is actually in the main Solana program, but in Anchor, it abstracts all of this information in the form of context. So context is nothing but providing some kind of account information, right? Providing context to this function as to what information, from which account should it read, from which account, using which account should it work. Why is that necessary? Because in Solana, everything is accounts, right? So all the information that is stored is not stored on the contracts, it's stored on the accounts, because Solana programs themselves are stateless, right? So we have to send the context of which account this function needs to work with in order for this function to consume those properties and work with them, consume those variables and work with them, right? So in this initialize, we are sending something called an initialize context, right? So you can see that that is a structure called initialize, which will have some information within that, whatever we want the logic to do, right? So we have public struct initialize, open close parenthesis. This is how we declare a struct. Within the struct, we can have all the variables that are a part of the structure. Now, above this, on line 14, you see something called derive accounts, right? Hash derive accounts. So this is a macro which says that this particular struct is going to use some kind of program derived accounts within this struct. That's why we use this macro, that this struct is going to use some accounts within that struct, and that context needs to be passed to that particular initialize function for something to happen. Okay. This is just the base program, so don't like get overwhelmed if you don't understand stuff. Now we will do the calculator program, so you will understand what are the contexts that are being passed, etc. So let's go to the calculator program and start writing the code. uh, uh, can you open the browser? Yeah. Okay. So okay. So what they say is in we can run this anchor build to just build this existing contract just to see how it gets built. So let's try that on the command line. You are inside my calculated app. I think you have to get out. Just do cd dot dot. Cd space dot dot. Yeah, here you can run anchor build. Anchor. Yeah, better to just copy paste. Yeah, this will take a while because it will build the entire Rust code and then with the dependencies and all that. So meanwhile, let's go to the browser and see, you can see some things and all appeared, a cargo lock and all. It is building. Okay, let it build. So let's go down. Yeah, so it will create a new folder called target, and then this will contain something called an idl directory, which will contain the idl of our program. So this is something like abi of our solidity program, and it is basically used for interacting with the front end and all that, like how we use abi will have all the functions and all that, right? So it will have all of those things. And then the test file, which is messenger app.js. I think we have already taken a look at that, but we will come back to it later as they have mentioned here. um, Scroll down, we will let's go to the yeah, so we will do the anchor test also later, because for that we need to stop the validator. uh, Come down. Yeah, okay, let's go to defining our programs, the next step. So now we are actually going to start writing our program, but I think we'll have to wait till this build completes. Yeah, it is too slow.
We can go to defining our programs and look at the program, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, but issue is if we play with the code now, the build will fail.
Okay. No, I'm saying we can just read this document.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. uh yeah, so this is basically the lib.rs file, right? So we don't need the initialize function. So what they have done is they have asked us to delete the initialize function so we can start writing our own functions. So the first thing that we'll do is actually, now if we actually play around with the code, the build will fail. So that's why I'm just waiting it out, but we can just go through the program if you want. It's starting to build. Oh, it's gonna take a long time. See, now just now it started building. I think it's slow, little slow because it's WSL. Okay. Um, so just scroll down. Okay, we'll go through the program. It's fine. We'll go through the program. Um, so we will delete. This is just the nothing much. They're just deleting the initialization function. Then scroll down. Yeah, this part and all we have covered, which is like bulk of the program goes in a module under the program. Okay, now what they if we see down the functions that we are going to write, let's take a look at these functions. So basically the app that we are creating is a calculator, right? So what we are going to do in this calculator app is we are going to create functions. First function will be just to create the calculator, right? So it will say, it will create the that this calculator exists. It's going to create a calculator, the first ever thing. You see the first function, public function create, right? It is having a context called create, right? And then it has another parameter called init message, right? So this parameter is something like, if we whenever we switch on our calculator, we will see some welcome message, right? Like, hello, welcome to the calculator. Hello, welcome to something, whatever the brand is of the calculator. So the init message, that is the string that is being passed here, is basically that whenever we see the calculator, it will have a welcome message to it, right? That's the message that we will pass while creating the calculator. And to return this, we are going to return a type of result called program result, which will have like whether this program ran okay, or whether it was not okay, or whatever is the state of the success rate of the program. Then if you see the next function, that is having that is for addition. So we are going to implement four things: addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division in this calculator. So each of the functions, if you see, one is for add, which is getting passed a context for addition, and then two numbers that will be added, num1, num2, both are of type I64, and then we are returning the program result. Similarly, we have multiply, which is getting past the context multiplication, num1, num2. So think of the context as something like what you're telling that program to do. Sorry, what you're telling that function to do. So create function is getting the context create. So you're telling the program that you have to create. And then addition, add function is getting the context addition. So you're telling that this contains the information regarding addition. Then multiplication, subtraction, division, right? So these are the different functions that we are going to create in our program. um, these are all public functions. So basically that we already know the access specifier, it becomes a client callable program function. And here is where they have mentioned the first argument of these functions is always a context, which consists of the Solana accounts array and the program ID, which is essential to call any program on Solana. So what are the accounts that are dealing with this particular function that this function will deal with? And what is the program ID? All of these things will be wrapped in this context and sent to this particular function. This is what actually Anchor is doing. If you see the actual Solana program, in the actual Solana program, you will have three variables. One is called a program ID, one is the accounts array, and another is the instruction set. All of these things are being wrapped by Anchor and passed in the form of context. So everything else, they're just explaining the different parameters, like what are the parameters and all that. And once we have added this is how our code should look like. So let's wait for the build to happen and add these functions to our code. So Vishal, if you want, maybe you can start writing it in Notepad or something, and then just copy paste it. Do you have like a
What is your
notepad?
system configuration, Vishal? Maybe because of the system configuration, it is taking time.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Can you just open VS Code? Yeah, just open a new file simply. Uh, just start writing the functions here. Just write it. Don't name anything. Just only write the functions. Just write pub fn pub fn space fn. Yeah, space create. Create. Yeah, open brackets. So the context that we are going to pass, always in Rust, the first will be the variable name, colon, the type of the variable, right? So the context we are going to pass, it's called ctx, colon, context, C capital, then open, close that generic thing. No. Yeah. Inside that, you have to write create with capital C. Yeah. So we are saying this is for creating, comma, init underscore message, colon, the type of this string. Yeah. Open, close parenthesis. Sorry. And then return variable. So after this one, yeah, you have to put an arrow. Yeah. And then you can type program result. No. Remove the ME. Yeah. And type the result. No space. Yeah. Okay. Now you have to write the other functions also. Not the code within this. After line 4, you can copy the same piece of code, what you have written, paste it in the next line, just change the contexts and the name of the function. Yeah, so add, you can make it add, then make the context as addition. And now for the variables, you have to pass two I64 variables, sorry, arguments. Okay, I think build has also happened. Num1 colon I64. Yeah, you still have to write the addition. Actually, I think the build is finished now. I think you can write and that itself. Yeah, copy this entire thing. Copy all of this. Yeah, and remove this pub fun initialize. This function you can remove because we are not going to use an initialize function. We are directly going to start with create. Yeah, copy that here, whatever you wrote. Yeah, paste it here. Sorry. Yeah, and scroll down. You can also remove this derive accounts initialize because we are not having any initialize struct. Yeah. So now we have created the body of all the functions that we want, and now we have to start populating the code. Uh, let's go back to the tutorial. Yeah, so now we'll start with the logic. Yeah, so this is now like a little different, and this is something that is important. Shweta, do you want to explain this part, this accounts part once again?
Okay, this accounts part.
Just quickly, like what we discussed in the previous session.
Okay. So in Solana, what is happening is everything is an account. So if you are coming from Solidity background, or in terms, say, like in a generic term, what I'll say that when we are writing a program, for example, say Python or C++, Java, or if you're from Solidity, so whenever we declare any variable or any kind of mapping array, everything gets stored in the uh, program memory. Okay, for example, if you're writing a smart contract, that contract has the ability to create its own memory where it stores its own variables. But in Solana, what is happening that every program is stateless. They do not have the ability to create their own storage. They cannot create and store variables inside their own memory. They don't have memory as such. If they want to store anything, they have to create a new account in which they will store the data. Okay, so for example, here if we are using a calculator, we are making a calculator application. So if they want to store any kind of data, they need to create a new account. Or if, for example, there is a variable called greeting where they want to store the greeting message, they will have to create an different account where they will store the greeting message. And whenever they want to retrieve that message, they need to again go to that account to retrieve the message and display it to the user. Okay.
Is this clear? Like, because this is like very important to understand what we are doing at this point.
Yeah.
Don't
So
understand
every
the account.
program, can create an account to store variables in it, and a program can create multiple accounts as required to store the variables. So in Solana, there are two kind of accounts. One is the program account, and another is the code account, something like that. Storage account. Yeah, executable and non-executable account.
Non-executable account.
Yeah, so one is executable account and another is non-executable account. So program itself is a non-executable account which does not have any storage capacity. So it creates a program is an executable account. So that is why it does not have any storage capacity. So it creates a non-executable account in which it tries to store all the variables and structs and everything over there.
No, program is non-executable, right? And it will create executable accounts? No, other way around.
Other way around.
Uh, okay. Non-executable, but in non-executable, can we change the state or no?
We can.
But
States
it
can
is
be.
non-executable, right? Okay.
We'll just go through that document.
Yeah, that's true. It's so
Uh,
confusing. Uh, one
where
second.
is it?
Executable and non. Guys, if anybody has better clarity, please feel free to share your thoughts as well. I think we had Prakash on the call. I think he has expertise with Solana. Yeah, he's there. Prakash, are you there? No. Account Solana. Yeah, if an account is marked executable in its metadata, then it is considered a program which can be executed by including the account's public key in an instruction's program ID. Accounts are marked as executable during a successful program deployment process by the loader that owns the account. You are right, that means.
Yeah,
That's
see, it's quite implied from the name itself. Executable means something that can execute, and programs are
correct.
executable.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that is why programs are executable accounts, and where we store the data, that
It's
is the
a bit
non-executable one.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So, okay.
I
Yeah.
just shared that.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. So, oh, already here they have given small note about account. This is really small, but okay. Uh, so, yeah, information about the permissions. Yeah. This part we already discussed. Accounts pay rent in the form of lamp pots, and if it runs out, then the account is purged from the blockchain. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the logic then. Seven. Ah, no, no, a six. Sorry, point six. Okay. So basically now within each program, within each function, we will have to do the actions for that particular function, right? So what we will do is we will take the state that needs to be changed from the accounts that is present inside the context. So we can see that let calculator, we create a variable calculator and we say that we want a mutable value because we are going to change that value of the state. So we get this variable called calculator and store it in our local variable calculator. So we get the variable state of the calculator from the accounts. So we can see ctx, which is the context, dot accounts. So the accounts from there, within the accounts, the state of this calculator is being stored. So we have ctx.accounts.calculator, and then we add the ampersand mute because it is a mutable state, right? And store it in the variable calculator. Then we have to assign the greeting part of the calculator, right? That every time we open the calculator, the greeting should be some message. So we say that calculator dot greeting will be equal to init message. That is whatever message we have passed. Then at the end of the program, we just write okay. That means that like we have completed this and this is successful now according to us. So this is the logic of this particular program. I mean, this particular function, that is create. So can you write this logic, Vishal, within your program function? Ah, cool. Okay, you've already done. Now, without seeing the next particular code, can you go to this one, your program, and try to write the logic for the add part? Yeah, create the same calculator, correct? Dot calculator. Yeah. Now before you actually get to write this logic, this particular calculator program will store three things. This calculator will store a greeting message. It will store a result, that is what is the result of that operation, and it will store a remainder just for division, right? So here we are going to be updating the value of the result of the calculator, which will be from the addition, right? So you can write calculator dot. So in the previous one, we updated the value of the greeting, right? In this, we want to update the value of the result. Result will be the variable. So we will say result, a small r. Yeah. So how will we calculate the addition result? Yeah, exactly. So we'll add the two numbers and store the result in this particular calculator or result. Sorry. Yeah. Now it is easy to write the other. right? That is fine. Let us go down. Let us go down. I think you can write. Okay, or you finish writing the other pieces of code as well. If all of you are doing it hands on, uh, just do the things now, so you, as you are getting into some errors or something, you will be able to debug it with us right away. Yeah, so just for division, we will also have another variable, which is remainder. So the result will be num1 divided by num2. That is fine. Result is correct. Yeah, and then we will also add calculator dot, yeah, remainder, REMA, all small, MAINDER, yeah, equal to modulus percentage, yeah, num2, yeah. So basically the main logic of our program is done. But now the context that we are passing here, we need to initialize those contexts, right? So can you go back to the tutorial? We will see how they have initialized the context. Yeah, structure. So now the contexts are nothing but the different structures, right, that we are going to initialize. So the first and the main structure that we are going to have is the calculator structure, right? That's the structure that we are going to be storing in the account, right? So we will define, so the calculator itself is going to be an account, right? The calculator account will store the greeting, the result, and the remainder. So we have to use the macro hash account to define that this is an account structure, right? And then pub struct, which is defining a public structure, name of the structure, that is calculator, open and close parenthesis. And then within that, as we said, we are going to define three variables. One is a greeting, one is a result, and one is a remainder. So this you will have to copy paste and write at the bottom of your program. So this is the first structure that we are creating. Outside the function. Yeah. No, this is not outside the module, right? This is copied inside the module. And no, outside the module. Yeah, so you can come to the end. Yeah. Yeah. So now we have defined our first main account, like what will be used in this program. So which is the calculator account. And then we define the variables. Now, if you see the different contexts that we're using, addition context, multiplication context, subtraction context, division context, those are all going to be derived accounts. That means the account, for example, the addition account is actually going to derive the value from the calculator account, right? So if you go back to the browser, just scroll down. Yeah, so this part, okay, let's okay, this is how come, can you scroll up? They did not mention anything about yeah, it is something similar to inheritance, but it is not exactly inheritance in the context, in this context, because this is a new thing in Solana, which is called program derived accounts. So if you see this structure, hash derive accounts, right? So it is deriving from the accounts macro, from the accounts main thing. And the structure, that is pub struct, is called addition. And this info part, we are not very clear. But if you see the account inside this, it is pub calculator, and it is deriving from the calculator account, from the calculator struct. So it's a kind of inheritance, but not exactly inheritance. Basically, something like this account, it wants to access the data of this other account. So addition is actually directly dependent on the calculator account, right? So whatever addition does, whatever comes into the addition, it should be the calculator context. That's how it is like program derived accounts. uh, I guess we can call it inheritance, but not exactly. It's yeah. So we can see that now the addition struct that has been defined here, it is a derived account. So you can, for the derived account, we have to use hash derive accounts, this macro, and then write the account from which we want to derive the like here inside we have the calculator account from which this addition account is actually derived. So you can paste this and put it in your code, or just write it down. That's also okay. So after this account, you can, yeah, write it down. Yeah. Hash of derive, then in the accounts, yeah, hash, on top it's hash. It's dollar symbol. Yeah. Yeah. So this hash defines a macro. So struct, yeah, public struct, addition. Yeah. Then they have used that, uh, yeah, and info. I don't know what this means. Just close that. So I think we have to do a little bit of research from our end what this means. No comma, no comma. Just, yeah. Now what they have done is they have no. So this has to be derived from that. Again, you have to write the accounts macro thing here. Just go back to the code one. Yeah. So you have to write that you are deriving from another account. So you have to mention the account macro with the mutable keyword. That is, this value can be mutable because we are going to be changing the result. So hash of account mutable. Yeah. Then pub calculator, colon. I think it's colon, right?
Yeah.
Instruct, it is colon, right? Yeah, syntax. Yeah. Colon. So you will take from the account, capital A, yeah, account, and then bracket. Is it account or account? Not bracket, sorry, that, what is that thing? Yeah, info, comma, derive from the parent calculator account. So I think this is like a mapping. I don't know why this thing is used. Comma. Yeah. Capital C, because you are deriving from that structure. Yeah. Yeah. And comma. Comma. That's the syntax for struct in Rust. Yeah. So this is the addition context. Similarly, we have to define the subtraction context. multiplication context and the division context. Thank you, Gaurav. I think I'll just post this in our Telegram group as well.
So after that design.
Yeah. So now we have uh, okay. So now we have written the basic, like all the context and everything we have defined, and we have defined the program code as well. The last thing that we need to do is actually do the there is one more context that we have not defined, which is the create context.
Yes.
So that create context little complex. So just go to that piece of the code. I think it is in the next or something. No, in the tutorial only. Yeah. Uh, Final piece of the puzzle. Yeah. So in this create context, Shweta, can you explain this one? I think you are better at this accounts than me. What they're doing.
Okay, so account. Okay, so what happens is, so whenever we are creating an account, not we, the program is creating an account. So to create an account, it would require some kind of fees. Okay, and since we are using the Solana blockchain to create an account and store data over there, we need to also pay something. So as in solidity, if we do any state changes or stuff like that, we need to pay in gas. So similarly here also we need to pay. So here what they're doing is they're initiating the account with init function. Then payer is equal to user. User, as in who will be calling this function, has to pay for creating an account through this program. And then space is the amount of space that we are anticipating that this function or this structure will take in the blockchain. Okay. And yeah, and then next is that signer info. Signer here is the payer's sign, that some kind of signature that has to pass through, because this is an transaction that will be happening while creating the account. Yeah, and yeah, that's it, I guess. So
Okay.
did you understand, everyone? Like whenever this create struct is happening, it is creating an account. The program is creating an account.
Yeah. And all the other accounts, like all the other contexts, like addition and all that, are being derived once this particular account is created. So this itself is derived from the calculator account.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, this bit I think it's a little not straightforward to digest, but it is something as we keep writing more programs, I think we'll get the hang of it. Like the
Yeah.
space calculation and all that. Right? Okay. I think now if we save this and run the build again, it should build our new code. So basically, this is it. This is our complete program for creating a calculator. What this does is every time we call the create function, it will create a calculator. It will create a new calculator for us and set the initial message, greeting message to whatever message we send. Then it will create, every time we call the addition, it will set the result of the calculator to the added numbers. Every time we call the subtraction, it will set the calculator result to the subtracted numbers, division and multiplication likewise. This is what this program is doing. You can try to build it, Vishal.
Is there this positioning of this creation of this trust? Does it matter in trust? It doesn't, right?
I think it doesn't seem to because they are having derived accounts above the actual account. I think it's just a struct. No, it won't matter because it's a compiled program, right? It's not interpreting. So it will compile initially everything and keep the things ready. No, there is
Very
some.
important.
So yeah, so you have to define the multiply, the divide, and all that. The D, the first letter has to be caps.
For which
That's what it is saying, right? No,
we cannot
one
find
second.
type
What are
program
the
variables.
can't find program? Well, then can you open the tutorial? Yeah, it is being opened. And the name of the structures, is it the same as the name of the context?
Yes. You mean this and this? Those are different. I think I kept the same names.
Uh,
Divide, division.
yeah,
They're
division,
different.
subtraction. These are the name of the structures as well, right?
Yeah, Gaurang is right. The program result struct is so program. We need to derive that on top.
Which
This
one?
one.
Uh, the thing that we are returning now.
Program result.
Yeah.
What do we need to rewrite?
Yep, I'm giving you.
No, but program result will come from that anchor lang, no?
Sometimes show the error, Vishal. Yeah. So
Uh,
it
It's not finding in the scope.
yeah. Wait. Yeah. Use this to import the program result. I've shared in the
Uh,
chat.
it is okay. This is just a one. Why is this case is a issue?
no,
Show
see
the errors.
the structure name that you have, no? that should be the same name as that of your context. So you have context, within that you have create, right? So you should have pub struct, yeah, addition, yeah. So scroll down. Yeah, it is the same name only. What is it saying? Multiply
Oh, it
should
is
have.
just showing this program result not on scope and this multiply thing they asking. It is just a warning actually. Put it in caps.
Gaurang is saying
The one error
subtract
is
is
this.
not equal to subtraction.
But it's saying that
Is
pub.
it something of subtraction you've written on top?
Yes,
Context subtraction, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
Gorang has a good eye, yeah.
Subtract. Yeah, this should be subtraction.
Yeah. Keep it same.
Yeah, and multiply should be multiplication. Yeah, and I think division. Yeah. That program result error is still persisting, no?
that I have put this thing. Use anchor lens. Now it is building.
This WSL is throwing some weird type of errors.
Yeah, I think it has ran.
No, it has
Oh, it
deployed.
is good.
No, it has built.
It has built. Okay.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have the Solana validator running, test validator.
Yes, I think.
Yeah. Now you can deploy.
No, we
How
shouldn't.
to deploy?
We shouldn't. We should stop the test validator.
No, only
Otherwise, it won't run. It won't
no,
happen
no,
on
no.
that.
It will deploy, no? With the it needs a local net, right, to deploy.
Uh,
For
I guess.
testing, we need to stop the validator because it will take the test environment from Anchor.
Okay. Okay.
You can just
So
after that building, it will give that command, no, to deploy. Yeah, to
deploy this
deploy
program.
this
Okay, this.
program. Just copy that. Remove the dollar symbol. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, right.
Hmm. What are these messages? Okay,
Program
so we
ID.
have got a
Wow.
program ID. Yeah. So
Mhm.
that means this program is now deployed on the local net. So we can take this program ID and just
Okay.
replace it in your actual program where you have that declare ID. Yeah. And also, yeah, no. Yeah. And also you have to replace it in anchor.terminal. Yeah. So basically our program is deployed. Now the next thing in the tutorial, I think which folks can do by themselves. It's already 12:24. Uh, you can do the testing part, right? So this will, you can write the test for your calculator program. Yeah. I remember that the messages are the logs, but when I had deployed for some reason, not show up the messages. So that's why I was wondering. Yeah, so you guys can write the test for this piece of program and see if it is running fine. And in the testing, you will be able to do all the elements like adding, subtracting, and multiplication, division, everything. So, yeah,
Should I remove this?
uh, I think you can, or you can remove parts of it. Yeah, or you can remove the whole thing itself. Okay, folks, I will have to jump to another call in a couple of minutes. But if you guys want, you can continue being on this call and finish this off. And Shweta, are you able to continue or do you also have to jump off?
Maybe I'll continue for some time and then we can drop.
Yeah, I've made you the host anyways. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, guys, we'll catch up next Tuesday then.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Vishal, before running Anchor deploy, what command did you run?
That cargo build,
Cargo build.
anchor build, anchor build,
Sorry?
anchor build.
Okay.
So where do we write this first test?
Sorry?
Writing of first test.
So this will go in the test file.
Okay. So,
I guess we can continue this test on our own. What say?
yeah. But like after everything is done, like do I what do I need to do with this Corona test validator? How do I stop this?
Just Control C and it will be stopped.
But while running the whole testing, do I need it to be running or just?
While testing, it doesn't. But if you want to deploy or something, you might need it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So if you face
Thank
any error or anyone faces any error while or any doubts, we can just chat on the Telegram group itself. It will go inside that one. See, this is the, it creates a calculator test written here down. So
Inside
just remove this one.
inside.
Yeah, remove this one. If you have written, if you have already written this now, uh, no. The whole thing will not go. Only the body of that test will go. This await from
Sorry.
await. We shall read this one. I'll just stop.
Okay, I'm
See
stopped.
it. No. Don't stop
Uh,
sharing. Don't stop sharing.
I am seeing the according the code it should be like here. It's like
Yeah.
competition.
But since you have already written the structure of this, now it creates a calculator. Just remove that one that you have written in the down below
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You mean
Yeah.
to
See
remove this
here.
whole thing?
Yeah. This, remove this part. Then
The whole thing?
no, not whole thing. This one only, it creates a calculator. Remove that first.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do we test it? It is just right.
You can do anchor test, I guess. It will run. And also go through the code what they are trying to do. Don't merely just copy and paste over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that is why I'm saying take your time, do it at your own pace. Okay,
Mhm.
and we are always there in the Telegram group. If you face any difficulties, we will just discuss over it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about everyone else? Gaurang, Shobit, were you able to do? Were you doing parallelly?
Uh, yeah, but like anchor build is failing for me. I don't know what is the problem here.
Nice, Gaurang. What issue it is showing, Shobit? What error?
Uh, it's saying he failed to read that cargo.toml file. I don't know.
Okay. Vishal, can you stop sharing? I guess. Shobit, do you want to share your screen?
Hmm.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah.
Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. Failed to read cargo.toml file. Syntax is incorrect. Okay. So do you have any space or something like that in any of your folder name? Is it?
No. Yeah,
Rust study group 8 weeks. So did anyone? So does any of this folder has space?
uh, no.
Try running
No,
again
no.
with anchor build. Failed to obtain package metadata cargo metadata executed with an error. Okay. You are on Linux?
No. Windows.
You're on Windows. Okay. So you're on WSL?
Uh, no.
Okay. Uh, I would suggest, doing on WSL because even I was trying to do it in Windows, so I faced a lot of issues. And then I switched to WSL and it works fine in WSL. So this kind of thing, na, because this compatibility, like they have written everything according to the Linux systems. Okay. So they try to read this kind of folder structure, and also it's kind of different in the Linux and Windows. So I guess some kind of issue is happening for that only. Yeah, Gaurang is saying, yeah, so maybe Linux doesn't support this. Yeah, Gaurang? Underscores, these hyphens.
Oh,
Yeah, so that is why maybe. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you need to change the folder name, Shobit.
okay.
Okay. So try changing these names and then building it. Hopefully it will work. Yeah.
How do I stop the Solana test validator? I did Control C and it is running so many things.
Test ledger is running even after Control C.
Yes, it is like populating with that process dot 10586 something like that.
Okay, share your screen.
Yes, like this.
Uh, Try again Control C. Yeah.
Stop.
Well,
Anchor list.
so you need to change the program ID. So you received a program ID now, upper mein,
Uh,
on top.
yeah, that I changed right in Anchor form.
Okay. You changed in both the places.
Yes, yes. How do we give the parameters and test this thing? Like I thought we will have something like that, but it is saying that default is for it with symbols and something like this. This is the last one.
Creates a calculator. Okay. Problem is in creates a calculator. Why it is showing error on this underscore calculator part? Where have we defined
Actually,
okay?
it is a, I did not stop the validated. Now I stopped it. I think, but why? It is not showing this thing. Why it is not showing? After testing, do I need to deploy it or something?
No, first test it, remove these errors if it's happening.
Yeah, I have.
So where have you defined this underscore calculator over here? So
Sorry.
this needs to be defined somewhere above, maybe. See, const calculator is equal to underscore calculator, but this is second test, right?
Yes.
Go to for the first test.
What's that?
Okay.
Do you guys have any idea how to do this formatting different colors on different things? Mine, so everything is black and white.
So it depends on the theme of the VS Code.
I tried different things, but I did not do different things. I think it's some package that we need to.
Anchor require project serum anchor.
I want to get test valid does not started, so you can't get question. Or else consider the
So your test validator is not okay. Your test validator is not running now. That is why. Okay, we shall try running this at your own pace. Try to debug the errors and see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, Gaurang has shared what can you do. Still, it's failing for Shobit. Okay. Again, the same error, Shobit.
Yeah.
Switch to WSL. Seriously, I'm saying life will be easier.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right.
So,
One monokite him.
so Gaurav, did you run your anchor test and did it come fine for you?
Yes, bro, I've already done this part, the whole calculator thing. Hmm.
Yeah, now it came.
Hmm.
Yes. Work.
What changes did you do?
Nothing, I just saved it again and ran. Okay. This test validator did something. So every time we want to run something on Solana, first we need to do Solana test validator, right?